Does the Bradley Performance suspension really make that much of a difference on the Yamaha TW200? Stick around to find out. Hey folks, this is B-Dub on a T-Dub. Appreciate you tuning in again. So if you saw my modification overview video, you know that my 2022 Yamaha TW200 is kind of fully outfitted with Bradley Performance suspension. So I want to do kind of a deeper dive into what those various components are, a little bit about how they work, and talk about my experience with how the Bradley Performance suspension has changed my bike. So the first thing I want to cover is who should seriously consider upgrading the suspension on their TW200. That's going to be directly related to your size and weight and the type of riding that you do. So if you're a light or medium or average weight person and you're staying on the blacktop, this really has no benefit to you. If you're a taller rider, heavier rider, and or you ride off-road aggressively, even if you are an average sized person, then the suspension upgrades from Bradley Performance will make a significant difference to the performance of your TW200. So I want to talk about the various components and in some degree of depth here. So the front forks has a longer damper rod. So Brad came out with those within a year or so. And at the bottom of the fork is the damper rod. And what that is it has holes through it. Was introduced by BMW in 1935, so it's been around a long time. But the resistance of the oil flowing through the holes in that rod is what provides the damping. So if you ever seen a car that either didn't have shocks or had blown out shocks and is going down the road and it just keeps bouncing from the spring, there's no damping. That same situation, so if your forks didn't have any oil in them, or if the holes in a damper rod were huge and there was no real oil resistance, you would just keep pogo sticking. So that's the purpose of the damper rod. The major disadvantage of a damper rod is it has one hole size, so it's fixed. It tries to hit a happy medium, and that's really what controls the compression on your forks. So if you're going through small bumps, you might have a right-sized hole that makes it feel good, but then when you have a big impact, that hole is not going to be the right answer for that given suspension speed and stroke. So damper rods, certainly better than if you've seen some real old motorcycles with the friction dampers. Certainly the damper rods and the oil is a significant upgrade from that, but it's also closing in on 100 years old. So there is a better answer. So in addition to the longer damper rods, which provide an extra 1.5 inches of travel on the TW200, so that's pretty significant, the bike is also outfitted with longer 0.7 kilogram per millimeter springs. And what that is that's a measure of the spring rate. So how much force does it take to compress the spring 1 millimeter? And in this case, it's 0.7 of a kilogram will compress the spring 1 millimeter. So you have the damper rods and you have the springs. In between there is what's called an emulator. So it's another fairly recent offering that Brad came out with, again, maybe a year or so ago. And the emulator solves the issue with the fixed holes in the damper rod. So the emulator is a little disc type item that sits on top of your damper rod and below your spring. So the spring kind of holds it on the damper rod, if you will. And within that emulator, there is a small hole. So as you're going through small bump, you have good compliance as your oil is damping through that small hole. But also in that emulator, there's a larger disc or a hat that covers larger holes. And that hat is spring loaded. So when you have a large impact, the force of the oil, the resistance of that oil trying to get through the small hole in that hat creates enough force that it compresses that spring, lifts that hat, and it opens up the larger holes in the emulator, which allows for much better compression control on the bigger hits. So that little emulator is a big part of the magic, and that is essentially a variable valve is exactly what it is that overcomes the limitation of having one size fits all, literally, holes in the damper rods trying to manage the dampening. So longer damper rods providing 1.5 inches of extra travel, heavier, longer springs, size for bigger fellas like me, the emulators, and then I'm also running 10-weight fork oil in there. So if you don't run the emulator, you know, prior to that type of technology, essentially varying the hole size in the damping rod and changing the weight of the fork oil were really your tuning options. Most people weren't going to deal too much with the hole size, so it's a little more common to use spring rates and fork oil viscosity to adjust your forks. So that is the big difference on the front end is those changes. So it's stock suspension at 275 pounds. That would have been bad juju. So those forks have made a dramatic difference in how this bike handles really across every type of off-road terrain. So in the rear, I'm running the Bradley HD Touring lift shock. So that shock lifts the rear of the bike about 2 inches, and I'll cover that in a little bit more detail. And it also provides 1.5 inches of extra travel. That shock is a 800-pound spring. So whereas the front springs are, you know, spring rates defined in the metric system, the rear shock is more of the U.S. standard, if you will. So it takes 800 pounds of force to compress that spring 1 inch. That's the heaviest spring that Bradley offers, and frankly, it's a right setup for me. So you have a longer travel shock, you have a heavier spring rate, and you have the ability to adjust the compression with nitrogen or air. So generally you run the shock between 75 and 125 psi. That's kind of one of your tuning options, in addition to obviously the preload that you can put on the spring to kind of get your sag dialed in. So that is what I'm running in the back. One thing that happened, so at the same time that the suspension was upgraded, I went to the Bradley Performance more aggressive tire, and every once in a while I will get a rub in the back. And I talked to Brad about that, and he said something that I didn't think of, which makes perfect sense. You know, obviously you don't want some situation where there's violent bottoming or really heavy rubbing, but a little scrub once in a while isn't a big deal. And Brad's reasoning for that is you don't want to tune the suspension so it never bottoms, because if you do that, then you're going to be running too stiff a suspension 99.9% of the time. So having that slight rub, you know, once every 4 rides or something, coming off of a little bit of a jump or whatever is nothing to be concerned about, and kind of tells me that the bike is sprung correctly for me. I mentioned in one of my other videos, the 3XL Dude video, where I went through how I set this bike up for being a larger rider, and the 1.5 inch lift from the suspension was a significant difference. It makes the bike feel completely different sitting on it and riding on it. One thing, in the interest of full transparency, I did not do the suspension modifications on this bike myself. So I made the decision over the winter to make the upgrades. I don't have a heated garage, and literally the first time I was on my T-Dub, I had loaded it up and rode down to Bradley Performance for Brad's ride in March down in Arkansas, and it was pretty funny. So I rolled in there on Monday, so I was there all week. The ride was that following weekend, and Brad and Mob Street Matt, so shout out to Mob Street Matt.
Well, now it's time to work on Bill's bike.
And Brad's friend Tater were just wrapping up another rider's modifications with very similar changes, and about 5 minutes after my truck hit park in Brad's driveway, my bike was on the lift, and 24 minutes later I sent my wife a photo, and all the suspension was out of the bike. So Brad and Tater and Mob Street Matt just dove into this thing and did an incredible job and knocked it out. Hour and a half later, the bike was on the ground with new tires, tubes, new suspension, new full exhaust. So I cheated there. I'm not going to deny it, but that was the opportunity that I had, and it was a great time to get down there. So certainly keep Brad's ride in your mind for March of 2027.
So the angle of the front forks, which is called the rake, is very critical to how the bike handles. So if you've ever seen the 70s choppers with their really long front ends, so those were ultra lazy handling, right? On the opposite end of the spectrum, as the angle reduces and the forks get closer to vertical, your bike gets a lot twitchier feeling. So if you were to just install the rear shock, the long travel rear shock, and only lift the back of the bike 1.5 inches, you would in effect be reducing the rake angle on your front forks, which would adversely affect the handling of the bike. So it would make it a lot twitchier. So prior to Bradley Performance coming out with the longer damper rod, which accomplishes the raised height, they had fork extensions that screwed on the top of your fork tubes. And really the sole purpose for those, they didn't affect anything as far as the actual spring rates or the action of the suspension. Those were entirely to correct the geometry that I'm referring to as far as the rake angle. But now with the longer damper rods, you've got other options. But the key is to raise the front and the back of the bike an equal amount. You wouldn't want to significantly improve the performance. Got a little turtle here. Hello, turtle. You wouldn't want to significantly improve the suspension feel on your bike, but then significantly diminish the handling due to the change in rake angle. Yeah, the rear shock and the forks are a great match set.
So one thing I wanted to point out is with the longer travel shock, you achieve your lift obviously with the swing arm. So because of that, there's a little steeper angle with the chain. So there is a chain roller that's used to prevent the chain from rubbing on the frame and whatnot. So that's an important addition. That's also a part that Bradley Performance sells. So if you're interested in doing any of this stuff, go on to bradleyperformanceproducts.net, and all the stuff is on there. You can add it to the cart. You're probably going to be in the area of about $700 to do the full forks and the rear shock. So the answer to the big question, does the Bradley Performance product suspension transform the TW200? Absolutely, especially if you're larger and ride off-road or aggressive. This is the single most significant change that I've made to my TW200. So I am going to fire up the old Harry B rating scale, and drum roll, the Bradley Performance suspension gets B-dubbed on a T-dub's very first 5 out of 5 Harry B rating. You can't go wrong with these upgrades. If you're a larger rider, you're off-road, all the things that I mentioned, this is a significant upgrade for your TW200. Matt from Mob Street did some great videos on all the detailed installations. So check out Matt's videos if you need any installation help. And Brad is always more than willing to help folks out as well. So I appreciate you tuning in. Again, this is B-Dub on a T-Dub. If you're liking this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I'm shooting for 1,000. Got a ways to go yet, but a good start. Any support you could provide would be much appreciated. Again, B-Dub on a T-Dub. Keep your two tires dirty.